Oh,
Yeah.
the microphone. I think they're just always on.
Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight. We had a little bit of issue with the Wi-Fi. I should have listened to my wife. She told me it wasn't going to work. She was right.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah. So today, we don't have Catherine here with us. So I roped Dawn Denham, our Director of Leadership Northern Kentucky, to come in and join us. I want to thank CBG, which is our title sponsor, and L&N Federal Credit Union, who are our studio sponsor. And we are here at the Carnegie. Beautiful facility. Our beautiful facility. It's the largest multidisciplinary arts organization in Northern Kentucky. For those of you who don't know, they have a gallery, they have a theater, they have an art education program that is really, really awesome. That does some stuff that with lower income schools, but then also has like art programming throughout the entire year, like for the summer, and they have summer camps. Yep. Really, really awesome. They have a few really great things coming up. Miscast is coming up on September 28th. For those of you who don't know what Miscast is, it's where they take famous tunes from Broadway and then they take somebody who should not be playing that part and have them sing that song. So it's like kind of flips everything around. It's a really, really great show. I went to it last year. You should check that out. Also, one of the other reasons we're here, we're going to learn more about this later, is FotoFocus is going on. Mm-hmm. And then we also have The Art of She coming up on October 17th. It's all about girl power. And this year's theater season kicks off on November 2nd with Proof, which is going to be a really, really great show. And every show that they put on here is absolutely amazing. It's super, super cost effective for going and seeing really, really, really great theater. Like the Green Day American Idiot they just did was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So
always great shows.
Check all that out. So let's hear about who our guests are today.
Okay, well, I'm so excited. We have 3 guests, and we have a guest host of the Business Week in Review. We also have an audience, which we didn't mention. We have a studio audience here today at the Carnegie that helped us kind of move around last minute, so thank you. To my left, I'm so excited about this guest because there's been such a buzz around the Chamber about her because she's giving some classes in the evenings at the Chamber. So this is author Virginia Braden. She's also a private investigator. So we're going to talk with her, and I know we're all very interested in that type of work. So that in a few minutes. Plus, Kristen Zavo is here. She's an author. The name of her book is Job Joy, and she actually is one of our speakers in the Women's Initiative Summit that's coming up here very soon. And we also have Dr. Vicki Berling with us from the Building Industry Association. She's going to talk with us about the Enzweiler Institute. So we're really excited to have our guest today.
Awesome. So before we get started, this is where I would usually plug a video for something, but I have to give a plug to my best friend, my wife, my significant other. Yes, who was right.
Who was right. Yeah.
We've been together for 14 years today.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
You know, she takes care of me. She takes care of the kids. She's probably sitting in the pickup line right now trying to get Leo out of.
And watching the podcast.
And watching the podcast. Yeah. She supports everything I do.
She does.
And I literally wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Like I wouldn't be here in the Carnegie today. But
that's correct.
Yep.
Well, if we're doing shout outs, happy birthday, Mom.
Awesome. All right, now let's hear from L&N Federal Credit Union.
Sometimes life is hectic. Choosing a mortgage lender shouldn't be. The L&N 5-5 Mortgage offers competitive rates, no PMI, and up to 100% financing. That's a mortgage that comes with peace of mind. Whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing, you'll feel right at home with L&N. We're local, trusted, and we'll be here for you even after your closing. Call 800-292-2905 and get started on your 5-5 mortgage. L&N Federal Credit Union. Welcome home.
All right. Thank you, L&N Federal Credit Union, for your sponsor. So our first guest today, as Dawn said, is Virginia Braden.
Virginia, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's awesome to be here.
We're excited to have you. So at the chamber, you hear Jeremy and I talk a lot about all kinds of things that you are so involved in, but in real life, and we listen to on podcasts, so all of these kind of like unsolved crime things. So I am so fascinated to learn, how did you get into this line of work?
Well, actually, I was a victim of a violent crime many years ago. I was a freshman in college, and I was a kidnap rape victim. And so going through that experience sort of really fostered my passion for understanding the dynamics that go into that, and actually became, I think, a real part of my healing to be able to walk alongside people in similar situations.
Sure. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
So you've picked up lots of skills over the years, and one of them is reading people's body language.
Yes.
We're not nervous right now, sitting with her at all.
Yeah, we're like, oh, am I doing it right? So what got you into wanting to teach these techniques to other people?
So understanding nonverbal communication is so critically important. It's actually called the relationship language, and I think we're all just kind of fascinated with it anyway. There's this idea that there's something more going on than what we're seeing, and that's actually very, very accurate. It's kind of like a superpower, but it really deepens and strengthens human connection. So it's how we establish rapport, how we convey empathy, how we connect with people. It helps us carry our message in a way that says, hey, what I'm saying really matters here, or let's just say I care about you. So I realized that could really be taught to people and really improve the quality of their relationships and their organizations and their work and their personal lives. So, and it's a no-brainer. It's a fun topic to teach. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, share us give us some insight. What would be an example?
Well, one thing people don't really think about a lot is what to do with their feet. And so a lot of times we practice like the social mask. We've got our upper body sort of the way we think we need to, but we forget our feet. So you can often look at someone's feet and you'll see fidgeting or shuffling. They may wrap their ankles or their feet around the legs of their chairs, which is a sign that someone is really stressed out, feeling very, very anxious.
Jeremy's feet.
I'm relaxed now. We're working. Everything's working. I'm relaxed.
And another thing that people may not realize that actually works very well, is very helpful in the business world, is if you're talking to someone and you take a look at their feet are pointed at an exit or at a door, they want to leave. They're already disconnected from you. Their body is already preparing to head out. And so why that matters, if you've got something important that you really need them to be paying attention to and soaking in, they're already gone. So you're better off just sort of gracefully getting yourself from that conversation to dismissing it and reaching back around with that person later on.
Wow.
So watch the feet. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
So you just did a seminar the other night at the
Yes.
chamber. When's your next one?
My next seminar is October 29th, and it will be at the chamber as well, and it is body talk. It is
Awesome.
nonverbal
Yes.
communication. Yep.
So we can come and learn even more tips.
Oh,
and all
it's
this
so
stuff.
much fun. You'll go to Starbucks, you'll just watch people. You'll forget to eat, drink. Yeah.
Okay, so we know about this a little bit already, but you have a cold case blog on your
Yes.
website where you write.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we talked just before going on air about there's actually a local case that a lot of us are really grateful that you're getting involved with. Can you share some information about that with us?
Yes, I sure can. So this is a case that is actively being investigated by the Boone County Sheriff's Cold Case Unit, and it is the double homicide, the unsolved murders of Peggy and Bill Stevenson. Peggy and Bill were two of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest human beings you'd ever want to meet, both in their 70s, and at a time in life, I think a lot of people are sort of stepping back and taking it easy. They were so dedicated to serving others, loved people, had an amazing faith, and their murders have just left a gaping hole in the heart of this community. And so what I really want to do with the blog post is to bring the attention back to this case, that it is not solved. What they went through was horrific. They were found May 29, 2011, Memorial Day weekend, in the residence in a condo in Oak Brook. Now, if many of you probably are familiar where that is, that's the last place in the world you would expect something like that to happen. And the way they lost their lives is just an absolute, just horrific thing. It's time for justice. The family needs answers. We're built as human beings, need to be able to turn that last page. We may not like the way the story ended, but we need to be able to turn that last page.
Yeah, and like we talked about so many times when you listen to these podcasts like we do, new tips come in, and it does in fact end up helping to solve the crime.
Absolutely.
So that's sort of the goal with this, right?
Absolutely. There are two ways people can get involved. Number one, if you know anything, you are urged to reach out to Detective Coy Cox and Detective Tim Adams. They are relentless. There's no piece of information that's too small. And just speaking, human beings, we tend to talk ourselves out of things. I really feel like there's someone out there that has information, and they've just questioned themselves and doubted themselves. Don't worry about whether or not it's a big enough tip or what it means. Let the investigators figure it out. So people can call 859 334-4807. You can also find this information, of course, on my blog, and there is another number you can remain anonymous. The other way you can get involved is share the post. Go to my blog, BradenInvestigations.com. You click Cold Case Mysteries. Get their faces out. Get their story out. They can no longer speak for themselves, and we've got to step up and do that for them now. They served us, and it's time for us to serve them.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got one more question for you.
Okay.
Question of the month.
Yes.
What is the best piece of leadership advice you've ever been given?
Okay, so that's be about people. Not agendas, not timetables, not projects, not products, not platforms. Be about people. Invest in people, grow people, develop people. People are not the means to an end, they are the end.
Great advice. Love that.
Yep. Thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us today.
Thank you for having me. This has been
So
really
glad you could
amazing.
join us.
Thank you.
And make sure you register for her course. It's super fascinating and it is really, really good.
It is. And they can do that on your website too, right?
Yes, BradenInvestigations.com. You can register for courses. Please check out the blog, share that post, go to my Facebook, share that post. Be the voice for Peggy
Yep,
and
and
Bill.
it's after work, so you don't have to miss work time or anything.
Right,
like that.
there you go, right?
Awesome. All right, we will be right back with the Business Week in Review.
Okay.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
All right, and we're back, and we have a special guest for our Business Week in Review for this week. Business Week in Review this week, man.
Right, that's how it works.
I must have been running around sweating trying to get this equipment set up.
It's all good.
All right, it's Carissa Barnard. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Excellent. She's the Deputy Director of the Exhibits and Programming for FotoFocus, and that is the show that we were here at the Carnegie to show you today, and we had a really great backdrop in the gallery.
Of the art. It was so cool.
But when we're done today, we're going to turn the live camera off, and then we're going to come back live and go kind of do a little walkthrough of all of the stuff that the Carnegie has to offer. So
There we go.
we'll still get to show it off.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. So tell us about FotoFocus. What is FotoFocus?
So FotoFocus is a Cincinnati-based organization, so thank you for having us on your Kentucky chamber.
We are a regional chamber.
And so we're Cincinnati-based, but we are absolutely regional. So we have been around for about 10 years, and we support and present photography, film, video, the lens-based arts. We are very proud of the fact that we are also a philanthropic organization. We'll have our 10-year anniversary in 2020. We have given nearly $3 million to support artists in the region and institutions in the region, as well as galleries and some of the larger cultural institutions to support photography and the lens-based arts. So we have signature programming. We host a FotoFocus biennial every 2 years, and then we host a FotoFocus symposium and an artist series every year. And that brings us to why we're at the Carnegie today.
Yes. So tell us about it. So when is it? When is this biannual?
So to give you a little bit of background on the biennial, 2020 will be the 5th iteration in our 10-year anniversary. 2018, we had over 450 artists, we had over 90 projects, and over 80 participating venues.
Wow.
So that's kind of the scope of what the biennial is, and it crosses over into the region. So it moves into Northern Kentucky, goes up to Columbus. Also, we do the symposium, which is what brings us to the Carnegie today. So for the first time ever, FotoFocus is doing a regional juried exhibition. It is here at the Carnegie. So we're presenting it in partnership with the Carnegie, and we couldn't be prouder to cross the river. So we have artists, we have 44 artists in the show. There's over 80 artworks in the show. The premise of the show is really looking at photography and the lens-based arts, 30 years following the introduction of technology like Photoshop and the digital camera. So
It's changed everything. right?
Absolutely. So what does it look like 30 years later? So what you'll see is a variety of work on view, either in response to that, how artists utilize that technology, how they use that technology to manipulate the real, the actual, and artists that have really rebelled against technology and really stuck towards the more traditional photographic kind of processes. So the exhibition is actually part of a symposium. So the exhibition is on view now. We're having a large exhibition reception on Friday, October the 4th here at the Carnegie, so that's 5 to 8. But then it's presented in conjunction with a symposium, and we do a symposium every year. It's an all-day, on-the-hour kind of program. This year we have 18 participants coming from all over the country. We have artists, we have writers, we have curators, we have scientists. So we have a really eclectic group of people coming to talk about the same issues around digital technology today, particularly around how filmmakers talk about it, deep fakes, how the visual arts and technology have really infiltrated the news media and what we believe to be true and not. And so there's a really nice, I think, correlation between what we'll be talking about in the symposium and then what's on view in the galleries, because a lot of the artists here are utilizing some of that technology to make some pretty wild compositions, unreal animals, really three-dimensional photographic representations, videos that aren't actually it's actually kind of miraculous. So it's kind of scary too. So I encourage everyone to come see the show and to come to that exhibition reception, which has a performance as well as part of it. So I think what's nice about the lens-based art is that it allows you to be more than just the two dimensions. So it's more than photography. It's video, it's film, it's sculpture, it's interactive work and performance. So
Wow, that sounds
and
amazing.
there's a lot of stuff going on that weekend. It is the Big Kentucky's Edge Festival. The way that festival works is you can go and do like a tasting here or there, but that would be a great companion. Like, so if you're coming down, if you're going to be staying down here the weekend for Kentucky's Edge, you can stop by the Carnegie and check out the FotoFocus, because it's
October's
really,
a great month. I think you should just come to this region in October and stay.
I know. And then we got Blink the next weekend. Like, it's going to be
exciting
It's going to
times.
be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's get into some topics for the week.
So the most celebrated topic at the Chamber is Braxton's Barrel House has announced that their grand opening will be next Friday. I don't know what that says about the Chamber staff that everybody's so excited about so much beer being so close to our offices, but
collaboration is really important.
Yeah, is that what's going on? So that's going to be in the old Bremke site.
Yes.
Which,
if you're coming up Orphanage Road now, they've got this big giant mural that you can see on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. We're also going to do a chamber ribbon cutting there on the 25th, and I'm going to try to get a camera in there and do a little virtual tour, quick sneak peek if they'll let me.
All right.
We'll see.
Awesome.
On Tuesday was our big, huge Eggs and Issues event. It's the State of NKY. It's their biggest Eggs and Issues of the year. It's when the judges executive come in to give us the lowdown on what's going on in the three counties. Judge Knockelman, Judge Moore, and Judge Pendry.
So there were, 250, 275 people Tuesday morning?
Yes, and they go over everything, all the great stuff, all the development that's going on around our three counties. Then beforehand, the Kentucky Chamber was up, and they gave the MVP to Representatives Adam Koenig, Kim Mosier, and Sal Santoro for their strong leadership in moving Kentucky forward. And also, speaking of the Kentucky Chamber,
Breaking news.
They released it at 2 o'clock today. Ashley Watts, who was their former VP of Public Affairs, is now going to be the Kentucky State Chamber.
Yep.
So,
New chamber president.
Yes. So she's going to replace David Atkinson, who retired after his long stint there, and she's really great to work with, and has always been a good partner of our chamber. So it'll be great.
Yep. In more development, so I saw online this week that the City of Florence came out with their third quarter report that's all about their development, and Florence just continues to amaze us with like the growth and the redevelopment of what's happening there. So you can find that on the City of Florence's website, just all kinds of just great new businesses that have opened this year there, or that are planning to open later in the year. So check that out.
Northern Kentucky is booming.
Yep.
Also, Transitions was awarded $180,000 for their recovery housing. This is a really great win for them.
Yeah, that was a federal grant, and it correlates with National Recovery Month, which is this month as well.
Awesome. And then we had 2 ribbon cuttings this week. Yesterday we had one at Core Health in Florence, and then today we had one at Integrity Express Logistics, and that's down in the River Center, and it like overlooks the river. It's on the 3rd floor. It's not as high up as the Met Club, but it still has that amazing view.
Yeah, a good view of Cincinnati. Yeah. This week, the Business Journal came out, hot off the press. So if you don't have a business journal, you can check it out on our website or just give us a call at the Chamber and we can get one mailed to you. It's my favorite edition because it's the Leadership Edition. It announces our Leadership Northern Kentucky Class of 2020, which Mark Collier's in the audience today from that class. Good work. It also announces the Regional Youth Leadership Class, which is the version of Leadership Northern Kentucky for juniors in high school in the entire region, what our new board members, all kinds of big announcements in leadership in the region in that edition, so make sure you pick one up today.
And we got a new Chamber staff member.
We did get a new.
And
I'm looking right at him.
You might actually know who he is. Well, if you're into basketball, you'll know who he is. It's Drew McDonald. He is our new membership representative, and he is NKU's all-time leading scorer in men's basketball. And
here's our Brent joke. We already look up to him.
He's really tall. So you get that joke. He's really, really tall. Okay, yeah, and kind of rolling in with the NKU theme, next week our Pints and Perspectives is going to be at NKU. We're going to talk to the new coach, Coach Horn, and we're actually going to get down on the court. And since we have a new basketball player working for the Chamber, we're probably going to have a 3-on-3 pickup game going on there.
You think so?
Yeah,
Before we do that, let's give best leadership advice from Carissa.
Yeah,
we've got to give best leadership advice. We can't let you off the hook. Okay. Best leadership advice you've ever received to share with the audience.
I think I would have to credit my father with giving me that advice, which is about perspective. And that there's never only one perspective to a situation. There are 360 degrees of perception. So you have to really look at a situation from all sides. Your perspective is different than someone else's. And so looking at a situation, problem solving it, assessing it from above, below, right, left, north, south, east, west. So it's really kind of a holistic approach to looking at any type of challenge or kind of problem.
That's great advice for the times we're living in right now. Love that.
Kristen, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. We hope to see everyone at FotoFocus. It's free. It's open to the public. So
get here.
See you there.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, we will be right back with who's next? Kristen Zavo.
Yeah.
All right.
I am so excited for our upcoming Pints of Perspectives. We're going to be able to meet Coach Horn, the new NKU coach, right here at BB&T Arena.
I know, how awesome is that? And we get to be down here on the floor as well. I think we ought to take advantage of this opportunity to play a little 2-on-2, 3-on-3, maybe get the board members involved. Who you want?
That sounds good. I'll take Brady Jolly. He's our tallest board member.
Well, I tell you what, I think I'll just pick up somebody from NKU.
Okay, that sounds good. Who you want?
All right, well, my man is the newest member of the NKY Chamber team, Mr. Drew McDonald, all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, I thought you were going to pick Dr. Vidya. Well, I'll take Dr. Vidya. Jeez. We'll see you next Thursday night, 4:30 to 6, right here at BB&T Arena.
Fascinating job, Joy. Those of you who know me, I have a lot of joy in my job, so I hope I'm living what the book says to live. Kristen is one of our speakers at the Women's Initiative Summit that's coming up here on October 22nd. So welcome, Kristen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us today.
So let's hear a little bit about your book and why you wrote it.
Okay, so I am a career coach. I help unfulfilled high achievers find work they love, and all of my best stuff is in this book. A lot of it, of course, like many of us, come to our work based on our own experience. And I've changed jobs and careers many times. I started in investment banking, I went to consulting, then I did marketing for a Fortune 500 company, and now I own my own business. So through all of that, I've learned a few tricks along the way, and I've put together a process so it can be easier for you if you're going through a change.
So good that we're going to have you as a speaker for the Women's Initiative Regional.
At the summit.
Well, the title says everything. It's from overworked to overjoyed.
Oh, love it.
Yes,
love
who
it.
wants that,
Nailed it.
Right? And it's at work, at home. We volunteer for everything, and at the end of the day, we're burnt out, we're resentful, we're not our best self, and it affects everything from our health to our relationships to who we show up as at work. And
So true.
Basically, we're going to talk about how we can get from that overworked place to a place of calm and getting clear on our priorities. We're going to talk about difficult conversations and boundaries. There's so much, it's going to be so much fun.
I will be there.
Yes.
I promise. I will be in your course that day, for sure. That's great.
So, Summit, when is it? Where is it?
It is October 22nd, and it is at the Cintas Center at Xavier.
And so you can register for tickets on the Chamber website, nkychamber.com/events.
Yep.
And we do sell that event out. So everybody go ahead and register early and make sure that you get a slot.
It's getting pretty close there. I want to say it's like 350 or 400 is the sellout, and we're almost to 300 at this point. So
Yes.
register quick.
Yes.
You're gonna get left behind if you don't register soon.
Yes, and I know Kristen has some books for some audience members today, but also has, I think, a fun promotion that she wants to share with you.
Yes, well, it's not even a promotion. If you are watching this, if you are listening, and you need some more joy in your career, I am happy to send you a digital copy. Just email me at kristen@findyourjobjoy.com.
And we'll post that on social media to follow
Yes.
up, right?
Awesome.
Okay, so
I'll put it in
Kristen,
the show
your
notes,
best,
too.
oh cool, your best leadership advice to share with everybody
So
today.
this one's juicy.
Oh boy.
Nope.
So, we all grew up, right, with leadership in this, just way of someone's at the top, they know all the things, they're perfect, they have all the answers, and that is the old way. And, what I'm really leaning into and really just aware of right now is more the feminine style and the collaborative. And I am here and I might have the structure, I might be the leader per se, but we're all doing this together. And, to someone else's point, we all have a point of view, we all have value to offer. So it's not someone leading down, but it's a leading together.
I love that too. That's great.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for
Thanks
being
for
on the
being
show.
here. We'll see you in October.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
And remember, sign up so you can see her in October as well. All right, we will be right back with our last guest today,
Yes.
Dr. Vicki Berling. Did you know the Northern Kentucky Chamber can help celebrate your business's grand opening, reopening, or new location with a ribbon cutting? To take advantage of this member benefit, contact the Chamber at 859-578-8800 and ask for Lynn Ablin. All right, we're back.
Welcome
Sorry.
back. Our last
That's
guest
a quick-
today.
that's a quick
That was a
video.
very
That was a
quick
quick video
turnaround.
break, sorry.
This is not my day job. So our last guest today is Dr. Vicki Berling. Vicki is with the Building Industry Association of Northern Kentucky, and we're going to hear about the Enzweiler Building Institute.
That's right.
Today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, welcome, Vicki. We're
Well,
glad to have
thanks.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's nice to be here.
for rolling with us today on everything. So.
Absolutely.
So I feel like we've been hearing a lot about skilled trades over the past couple of years. I mean, we're through our work with the growing regional outcomes through workforce in Northern Kentucky Chamber. They're always talking about these trades and stuff. So what's going on?
Well, what's going on is that we have a great need, and the average age of a person who now works in the skilled trades industry is in the 50s. So they're hurling towards retirement,
Right.
And it's getting harder and harder for them to do the physical kind of labor that is necessary. Meanwhile, we've done a really great job of convincing young people to go to college, and I know you both know that I have a long tradition with colleges. I worked at both Thomas More University and Northern, so I love university, but it's not for everybody, right? And
Right.
so we don't have the young people coming into the skilled trades like we might have 10, 20 years ago.
Right, right. So you received a grant, the Work Ready grant.
We did.
Can you tell us what that's about and how it's going to help shape the region?
Yes, it's really exciting. It was almost $2.7 million that we got from the state of Kentucky. And the main thing it's going to do is improve and expand our facilities so that we can increase the number of programs we can offer. So we have a facility, our main facility that is called Enzweiler, is just off Mineola Pike. And we have been there for several years, but we have about 7 programs. Through the grant, we'll be able to add masonry, diesel mechanics. We'll be able to bring welding back to home. We have to do it now at the Boone Area Technology Center, which is a great facility, but it's not ours.
Right.
And then we can expand our existing programs in carpentry, electric, and HVAC. We can also, we'll be adding, we'll be renovating a facility on the Campbell County, where their board office offices in the junior high school, and turning that into a facility like ours, so expanding over into Campbell County.
Yeah, and the assumption that used to be that you weren't going to make any money, but we've been hearing that the salaries are much better. Can you give some ranges?
Yeah, and honestly, the sky's the limit. If you're somebody who wants to work hard, here's what I hear from builders is that they set their schedule around when plumbers can be there, or HVAC technicians, or electricians. So they really are holding the cards now, and so you can earn. The starting salaries are in the low 40s, but I hear of welders who are making six figures. Now you have to work hard. These are jobs where you will put in some hours. This is peak season, so all our guys are working really hard right now.
I've heard quite a few projects that have been kind of delayed because they can't get the plumbers in, or can't get the electrical in.
It's absolutely true.
Major workforce.
It really is. Yeah.
So you mentioned a background, obviously, in universities, and when I graduated from high school, the expectation was you're going to college, right?
Absolutely.
Like it wasn't. That's what everybody needed to do at that time. And those times have changed. Can you tell us a little bit about, how, especially as parents, how we navigate that we were raised, we're going to college, and now I'm raising children, and am I supposed to say you don't have to do that? And that weird change.
It is, yeah. So a couple of things I love about that. One is that first of all, we do have agreements with Gateway, and then through Gateway to Northern and others. So it's not always that it's not, you're never going to go to college, but it's the time frame at which you're going to do that.
Right.
But we believe in post-secondary education, and that's what we are. So you need something that happens post high school, but it doesn't have to be sitting in another classroom. And this is my first year with the Building Industry Association, and I have loved having parents come in because they say things to me like, I know my son, and I know that this is a better path for him, and he's a smart kid. I mean, I can see their ACTs on their transcripts. These are smart people, right? We want smart electricians, right? I want smart electricians. So it's not really that they don't have other choices. It's that they figured themselves out, and that they're active learners, and that's going to be the best pathway for them.
Not a one-size-fits-all.
You kind of went through some of the programs you have. Are there any more that you want to go through them again, or kind of give us a little recap?
We started with carpentry back in 1967, which that always floors people when I say that, right? Because we've been a best-kept secret. But electric, HVAC, plumbing, welding. We'll do facilities maintenance starting in January. So there's still an opportunity to enroll in that one.
Yes.
And then we'll add masonry and diesel mechanics for carpentry. For construction.
For construction, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your students and maybe a success story from a graduate, or what does this picture of a student look like for you?
Yeah. So gosh, there's so many. But I always have my favorite students, right? But so I'm thinking of a young man who just graduated from Dixie, and I actually know his family, and so he was sort of the one that they didn't know what to do. He was always a good kid, but he wasn't on that academic track like his older brothers were, and they were just so worried about him until he got into our high school program, and he really found his passion, and he was a star student in our program. He was named as one of our Student of the Years. He won a scholarship for our institution, and now he's working for one of our members, and he's just, you can see it in his eye. He's found himself. So and I could go on and on with stories like that.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I love that.
It's time for the question of the month.
Okay.
So what is the best piece of leadership advice you've ever been given?
Well, I got it when I got dinged by one of my employees, so I learned it the hard way, but it is that good supervisors delegate. And so in particular with this employee, we had this big event, and I thought I was protecting her from having to do work because it was a Saturday early event, and she had small children, and she came into this already set up event, and she said, I would have really liked to have helped you do that. And it was like, duh, right? That's how people get invested. They get invested in the work, and you're not doing them any favors. And if I really have to be honest, it was a control issue for me. And so my advice is, if you want to be a good supervisor, delegate.
Yeah. Awesome. Sometimes it's not easier to just do it yourself. It just feels like it is.
It is. And the value for the team is what you're missing if you don't delegate.
Right.
Thank you, Vicki, so much for being on this show today.
It's always good to see you too.
All right.
That's it. We did it.
We got through it.
Yeah. Almost.
We gotta thank our sponsors again and tell them what's coming next week. Mark Jeffries from a new company called Mobile Agent Now They're
Right.
a great chamber member. They actually offer a deal to chamber members for their service. But they're going to come in and talk about why online reviews matter, which this is a huge topic on anyone who's like deals with social media or selling a product or having people come into their restaurant or business or anything has to deal with online reviews. And this
Right.
company is going to tell us about why you need to worry about that and how you need to worry
Yeah, a
about
good
that.
or bad review can kind of make or break your business nowadays,
Yep.
right? We'll also have Dave Spalding from Turner Construction, and he's going to be here to talk about philanthropy and Turner being a good corporate citizen. So we'll get to hear all about how they give back in our region.
All right. And I want to thank again our title sponsor, CVG, our studio sponsor, L&N Federal Credit Union. I'm your host, Jeremy Schrand, this week. Catherine will be back next week.
I will not be here next week.
No, you should just take my spot. Maybe I'll just sit over there and deal with the technology. And you
No,
can
but it's
host
all
it.
about our guests. So thank you again, Virginia Braden, for being with us, Carissa Barnard, Dr. Vicki Berling here, and Kristen Zavo. Thanks so
Oh,
much.
and thank you, Ben.
Ben,
Getting
of course.
that technology run up there.
Yes.
Thanks again to my wife, Angelina, for trying to warn me, and I didn't listen.
All right. Thanks. See you next week.
See ya.